Good afternoon, YouTubers. It's Ben here from Southeast Queensland Storms, back with you for another Southeast Queensland weather update, and your weather update starts now. Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome to another Southeast Queensland Storms weather update on this Friday, the 28th of June 2024, and a very good afternoon to you where you are. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. And before we start, it has been a while since we had a weather update for you here on Southeast Queensland Storms on YouTube, but since we've come into the winter season, the cold, chilly conditions have returned, and really there has not been any weather of significance to talk about. However, that looks to change as we get into the next week and a half, as we finally have some weather to talk about, and that is some rain in the forecast. We also have some other factors to take a look at, and that is the potential or the possible development of a surface low or an east coast low that could occur off the southeast Queensland coast early next week, as well as another rain system that looks to bring in some more rain into the southeast Queensland region as we get into next weekend. But before we jump into this afternoon's video update for you, just a reminder that if you are not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please click that subscribe button and make sure you subscribe to us. That way you stay up to date with all the latest weather information for Southeast Queensland here on YouTube. And if you look at the top and bottom of your video screen, you'll also find our social media platforms on the other major social media platforms, being Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X, depending on what you like to call it. So if you're on any of those major social media platforms, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram. That way you have all the latest weather information for Southeast Queensland at your fingertips. All right, let's jump into your weather update for this afternoon, taking a look at what we can expect across Southeast Queensland weather-wise as we move in through the next week and a half. Firstly, starting with your temperatures, it's a little bit of a cooler day across Southeast Queensland today, and we're going to start with our current temperatures across the region. Not a real lot of activity to talk about on radar, just a couple of little showers offshore, off the Queensland east coast there, but across the rest of the southeast Queensland region, really not a lot to talk about in terms of weather. So we're going to jump in firstly with the southeast coast district, which is this area just here from the Sunshine Coast all the way down through Brisbane's north side to Brisbane, out to Brisbane's west, the scenic rim, the Gold Coast hinterland, all the way down to the Gold Coast. That is the Southeast Coast Forecast District. Let's take a look at your current temperatures. Firstly, starting with our residents up on the Sunshine Coast, we have currently 21 degrees at Tewantin and Maroochydore, and it's 22 degrees at Markoola. Coming further down towards the south, towards Donnybrook, 20 degrees there, 20 degrees on Moreton Island as well. It's also 20 degrees also in around Deception Bay. As well as we come into the Brisbane CBD, the Brisbane metropolitan area, it's 22 degrees there, 21 degrees out towards the Brisbane airport. Down on Brisbane's Bayside, Victoria Point, 21 degrees. It's 22 degrees at Parkinson. It's also 22 degrees out at Ipswich, 21 at Gatton, 21 at Bow Desert. And then down towards the Gold Coast, we've got 20 degrees at Helensvale and also 20 degrees there at Tweed Heads. Heading out to the west for our residents on the Darling Downs Granite Belt District, and it's a little chilly 17 degrees there at Stanthorpe, 20 degrees at Warwick, it's between 18 and 21 degrees at Toowoomba, also 21 degrees at Oakey, 22 at Dalby, 22 at Chinchilla, and also 22 degrees at Miles, and lastly 21 degrees out at Gundawindi. And lastly, for our residents up in the Wide Bay Burnett District, taking a look at your temperatures, currently 21 degrees at Kingaroy, also 21 respectively at Gympie and Tincan Bay. And then up to Maryborough, 22 degrees. It's also 22 degrees, respectively, at both Hervey Bay and Bundaberg. And lastly, Gayndah rounding it out with 23 degrees there. So all temperatures in the high teens to the very low 20s across southeast Queensland this afternoon. And as I said, in terms of the weather radar, really not a lot to talk about. Just a couple of isolated showers off the Queensland or the southeast Queensland coast at the moment, and also some light rain falling between Theodore and Taroom. But other than that, there's not a lot to talk about. But we do have some rain on the way for you over the next week and a half. So let's jump in and take a look at firstly what the professionals at the Bureau of Meteorology are talking about. Now, this is the official Queensland forecast, state forecast, that was issued at 4:30 this morning on Friday the 28th of June, and the Bureau will most likely update this forecast at about 4:30 this afternoon. So in about 18 minutes time they'll update their official forecast information for Queensland. But let's just take a look at what they're talking about this afternoon, and as we can see, What they're talking about is a trough system that looks to move into southwestern Queensland by early this Sunday, and that trough system looks to generate a rain cloud band, and that rain cloud band looks to move towards the east. And it looks likely to reach the Darling Downs Granite Belt as we get into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and then continue pushing towards the Queensland or the southeast Queensland coast by early Monday. And then there's a little bit of disagreement whether that trough system lingers around the southeast coast region into next week, or whether it continues to push offshore. But as that rain band comes across, we're likely to see some rain fall across southeast Queensland over this weekend and into early next week. So if we jump right through to Sunday the 30th of June, we can see light rain developing around southwestern Queensland, and then we see isolated shower activity in the eastern districts extending into the southeast Queensland area. And then as we get into Monday the 1st of July, we see the Bureau talking about cloudy with patchy rain across southeastern Queensland, and that continues as well into Tuesday with rainfall and cloud clearing through western Queensland. And then we see scattered showers about southeastern Queensland, with the Bureau talking about on Tuesday with some moderate rainfall possible on that Tuesday to Wednesday stretch of next week. So again, we've got that rain band developing in southwestern Queensland due to that trough. And then as that rain band develops in southwestern Queensland, it will push towards the east, reaching southeast Queensland, in particular the Darling Downs Granite Belt District by Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and then continuing to push into the remainder of southeast Queensland by Monday, where we could see some light rainfall, and then by Tuesday, some moderate rainfall as well. But I'll go into some more specific details for you now and break it down for you. So firstly, let's just take a look at what we can expect firstly for southeast Queensland tomorrow. So tomorrow, Saturday the 29th of June. So tomorrow really doesn't look to be anything exciting or significant in terms of weather across southeast Queensland. However, we are likely to see some isolated showers just along the southeast Queensland coast. You can see that area of light blue there, that easterly wind regime, that easterly flow, just helping to trigger some isolated showers along the southeast Queensland coast. But the light blue areas only indicates very light rainfall, even some drizzle. So nothing really exciting along the southeast Queensland coast tomorrow. This is 10 a.m. tomorrow. As we go into 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we can see some of those showers extending inland, but again, only light rain drizzle. So showers along the coast from the Sunshine Coast all the way down through to Maroochydore, to Caboolture, to Brisbane, down towards the Gold Coast and areas slightly inland. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, those very light showers persisting along the southeast Queensland coast and those areas inland. And then as we get into 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, again, just some light shower activity persisting offshore. So again, tomorrow, nothing really exciting or significant, but just expect to see some showers along the southeast Queensland coast, right from the sunny coast all the way down to the Gold Coast, including some areas slightly inland, but we're only expecting to see some drizzle and light rain out of that activity. All right, let's jump into Sunday. Now, Sunday, this is where we see, on Sunday, we see that rain cloud band developing across southwestern Queensland. There it is just there, so you can see it does have some rain and embedded thunderstorm activity with it for those areas in southwestern and southern Queensland, but the thunderstorm activity looks to weaken as that system continues to push towards the east. But as we get into tomorrow, there it is there, the rain cloud band. It's been generated by a surface trough with some support by the upper levels of the atmosphere. And as that rain band generates and develops across southwestern Queensland, it is expected to continue to move towards the east. And as it does so, it looks to reach the Darling Downs Granite Belt as we get into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So if we take that out and we roll through, we can see the rain band on the move. So this is Sunday at 10 o'clock. And as we get into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, we can see areas across the Darling Downs Granite Belt through to Inglewood, Stanthorpe, down on the Darling Downs Granite Belt towards the Queensland-New South Wales border, as well as areas south of Toowoomba out towards Gundy as well. We see that rain band making its way into the Darling Downs Granite Belt. And the trend is that system continues to push towards the east, reaching the southeast Queensland coast as we get into Monday. And there you can see there, as we get into Monday, the system reaches the southeast Queensland coast, bringing some light rainfall with it. Alrighty, let's take a look at what we can expect on Monday. So Monday looks to be a rainy day across southeast Queensland with drizzle to light rain, but we look to see that rain band that pushed into the Darling Downs Granite Belt on the Sunday. We look to see the surface trough responsible for the development of this rain looks to wash out or break down as we get into Monday, Tuesday, but we're still going to see that light rain and drizzle persist across the southeast Queensland region as we go through Monday. Now, what we could see across Monday, Tuesday combined, and in particular on Tuesday, an upper level system looks to linger around the southeast Queensland region, and as that upper level system lingers, or loiters around our region, we could see some moderate rainfall across the region across Monday into Tuesday. And this is the European model taking a look at total accumulated rainfall for the 2 days being the Monday and the Tuesday of next week. Now please, these are a guide only. They're not 100% accurate. They're just a guide only. But as you can see across Monday, Tuesday of early next week, widespread rainfall across southeast Queensland with rainfall totals possibly anywhere from 15 millimetres up to 30 millimetres with some heavier falls isolated, possibly around the Gympie-Mergen area, where rainfall of 40 to 50, possibly 60 millimetres could be seen. But where you see these areas of light to dark yellow to orange, that indicates rainfall of 50, possibly up to 30, 40 millimetres. But again, you can see across southeast Queensland, rainfall is widespread as that rain system tracks into our region across this weekend. Sunday and into Monday, Tuesday. And if we take that out to the Access G model, this is the Access G model with the Bureau of Meteorology. As you can see, again, rainfall widespread across southeast Queensland across Monday, Tuesday of next week. Again, rainfall anywhere from 15 to 25, 30 millimetres in those light yellow to dark yellow, dark yellow areas. And then as we get up into the orange, those little splotches of orange there, that indicates rainfall of possibly 40 to 60 millimetres. Again, isolated, possible heavier falls in areas around Inglewood, Stanthorpe on the Darling Downs Granite Belt, possibly just to the east of Alla as well, and out towards Tara on the Darling Downs as well. So some isolated areas could see some heavier falls than other areas, as traditionally is the case with rainfall systems. Some areas will see some rainfall, some areas will miss out, some areas will see more rainfall than others. That's just the nature of the beast. It's just the nature of the weather patterns. But again, good model agreement, widespread rainfall across southeast Queensland as we go through late Sunday into Monday and Tuesday of next week. And if we take a look at the AI modelling, just to see in comparison to the traditional weather models, this is the AIF's Europeans version of AI weather modelling. As we can see, this is as of late Saturday, and if we take it into early Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, there we go, we can see that a large extending cloud rain band moving into southwestern Queensland. As we roll through Sunday into 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon, we can see the rain band is on the move, pushing towards the east, reaching the Darling Downs Granite Belt, Queensland, New South Wales border ranges by Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. That's 10 o'clock into Sunday night. And as we go into early Monday morning, 10 a.m. Monday morning, we can see that system has reached the southeast Queensland coast, again bringing that rain. Now remember, as we get into Monday, the surface trough that's associated with the system looks to wash out or weaken. But we also have that upper level system looks to remain, possibly bringing some moderate rainfall as we go through Monday and into Tuesday. And there's Tuesday 10 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock Tuesday into 10 o'clock Tuesday night. And then we see on the AIF's model with the Euro that the system looks to hang around, still bringing some rain along the southeast Queensland coast. And then we do have the potential development of that surface low, or that east coast low, which I'll talk about shortly, and that is something that we will stay on top of. Going over to the Fushi model with AI modelling, again, very good model agreement with the European model. As we go through Sunday, 4 o'clock, we can see that cloud rain band from southwestern Queensland pushing into southeast Queensland across the Darling Downs Granite Belt as we get into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, before continuing to push into the southeast Queensland coast by early or Monday morning, bringing light to potential for or potential moderate rainfall as well as we go into Tuesday due to that upper level system lingering around. And again, we can see Monday into Tuesday, the rain persists across southeast Queensland And again, the Fushi model indicating that the system potentially hanging around as well as we get into the mid part of next week. GraphCast, which is Google's version of AI modelling, is all on board as well. This is as of Sunday at 10 o'clock again, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, rain band pushing into the Darling Downs Granite Belt, bringing the rain with it, and then reaching the southeast Queensland coast as we get into Monday and continuing right through Monday into Tuesday. So as you can see, the rain is definitely on the way as we go through Sunday into Monday and Tuesday of next week. All right, let's take a quick look at the potential for a surface low or an east coast low to develop early next week. This is the European model on windy.com. Now, a couple of points I want to stress about this is that, yes, we do have the potential for a surface low or an east coast low that could develop off the southeast Queensland coast by early next week. So this is looking at Wednesday. There we go. There we can see the system just there. However, it's very, very important to stress that if the low does develop, then it's all about location, location, location. The location of where the low develops is critical or key to ascertain if there's any significant risk of rainfall or strong winds to southeast Queensland. So what I mean by that, for example, is if the system is to develop right here, like through Moreton Bay or just off Moreton Bay, just off the Sunshine Coast or Fraser Island, then if it forms very close to the coast, then yes, we could see some significant rainfall and strong winds impact the southeast Queensland coastal areas and areas just slightly inland as well. However, if the low develops further way out here, like the current modelling suggests, and there is disagreement on where this system is likely to develop, if it forms way out here offshore, then the good news is then the heavy rain and the strong winds remain offshore as well. So the key to it, if the low develops in close to the coast, then yes, we could see some significant rainfall and strong winds. If the low forms way out here in offshore, then the heavy rain and strong winds stay out here as well. And as you can see, the European model keeping the system well and truly offshore. If we go to the GFS model, GFS is a very similar story, having the system well and truly offshore. And the Access model, though, however, has it just a little bit closer towards the to the Sunshine Coast compared to the European model. So there's the European model just out here, the Bureau model just a little bit further towards the coast. So it's something that we will have to monitor and stay on top of as we go across the next couple of days. And then by next weekend as well, as we move into next weekend, due to an easterly flow during the course of next week in the lower levels. So the easterly flow in the lower levels of the atmosphere again looks to feed some moisture into the atmosphere in those lower levels. And another upper level system looks to come across into southeast Queensland by next weekend, bringing more rainfall with it. But again, next weekend is a long way away, so I'll have some further details for you on that as we progress into next week. So with that said, that's going to conclude today's forecast videos. So just a reminder, there is some rain on the way. Expect to see some rain in southeast Queensland as we go through Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, into Monday, Tuesday. We will watch the future forecast runs for the development of that potential or possible surface east coast low and see whether that'll pose a risk to the southeast Queensland coast as over the next couple of days. And then as we get into next week, we'll provide a further update on that upper level system, which looks to bring more rain to southeast Queensland as we get into next weekend. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Just have some plans in place for some wet weather as we get into late Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Monday, Tuesday. It's a wet return to your working week next week, and then I'll have further updates for the southeast Queensland weather as we get into next week. But with that said, enjoy the rest of your Friday, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next forecast video. Have a great day.